Social media has created what we now know today as the attention economy. That is, your attention and your time translate to money and revenue to social media platforms. For those who don't know, the way it works is simple. The more time you spend on the platform, the more you are exposed to ads, and the more ads you see, the more profit these platforms make. So, because your attention is one of the most valuable assets for these companies, they will do whatever they can to obtain it. Some of you may think that a simple ad cannot affect you. However, the problem is not the ads you see or the platform itself, but social media is based on an advertising business model that needs to modify your natural human behavior for you to get hooked to these platforms for as long as possible. Remember, the longer you are online, the more they benefit from you.
Yeah, the reason I care about this problem so much is I studied at a lab called the Persuasive Technology Lab at Stanford that taught people exactly these techniques. Right now, it's as if all of our technology is basically only asking our lizard brain, what's the best way to just impulsively get you to do the next tiniest thing with your time? And it's because most people don't know that exists that this conversation is so important.
We can't deny that social media gave us wonderful benefits in communication and information. However, it also allowed us to create a strange online world that can be full of hatred and polarization. Not to mention fake news, threats to democracy, cyberbullying, and as a bonus, listen to what Jaron, pioneer of virtual reality, has to say about bots.
When Elon Musk is saying, oh, there's too many bots on Twitter, he's absolutely right. A friend of mine at Facebook tells me that 99% of the new account applications are from bots by their estimate. And the reason why is that people who want to mess up a society put in bots in order to sway opinion. So there's every economic incentive to make bots. Well, now
the internet culture back in the 2000s was not as manipulative as it is now. But it turned out this way unintentionally. But how?
It happened in the 90s. Early digital culture had a sense of, I would say, lefty socialist mission about it. Everything on the internet must be purely public, must be available for free, because if even one person cannot afford it, then that would create this terrible inequity. But at the same time, we also believed with equal fervor in this other thing that was completely incompatible, which is we loved our tech entrepreneurs. We loved Steve Jobs. So you have these two different passions. How do you celebrate entrepreneurship when everything's free? Well, there was only one solution back then, which was the advertising model. And what started out as advertising really can't be called advertising anymore. It turned into behavior modification.
Well, we are now in this big mess. We are constantly being observed, monitored, and manipulated by algorithms to both benefit the behavior modification companies and the advertisers. Again, we cannot really blame social media and algorithms for leading us to this mess, and there is really no point in blaming others. Let's focus on the solution instead. Jaron proposes to change the advertising business model, meaning that the platforms should no longer be supported through ads, but through a small fee or subscription.
If some of you were recoiling and you're thinking, oh my God, I would never pay for these things. How could you ever get anyone to pay? I want to remind you of something that just happened. Around this same time, a lot of cyberculture also believed that in the future, televisions and movies would be created in the same way, kind of like the Wikipedia. But then companies like Netflix, Amazon, HBO said, actually, subscribe, we'll give you great TV. And it worked. We now are in this period called peak TV, right? So sometimes when you pay for stuff, things get better.
And I believe in monetization because I believe when people have a stake, when they have something to lose, they'll think through their actions more. If the only thing you have to gain is attention and you have nothing to lose, then you'll be a jerk because you.
Well, it's easier said than done. Naturally, this will cause some hesitations at the beginning because we are so used to this advertising model. But think about it, just like paying for any product on the market, you should expect an increase in the quality of the content. You will be immersed in a more harmonious and safer environment, and your integrity as a human being is respected more because there will be no more spying, no more addiction, and no more manipulation. All the focus will be for your benefit.
We cannot have a society in which if two people wish to communicate, the only way that can happen is if it's financed by a third person who wishes to manipulate them.
Instead of hoping that other companies will do something to fix this, we can start the change by ourselves by being more reflective on what we actually do online. Let's create a cleaner social media together.